From South Florida, I'm Dave.
And from a very cloudy Dallas, I'm Q. If you heard that before, it's because we recorded two on the same day.
And if you've heard that before, congratulations, you're one of our super fans. So let's talk about keeping Scrum simple for you, your team, and your organization for better ways of working.
Better ways of working.
All right, so Q, I've been looking at Scrum Guide 2020 lately, and I want to share something with you. Let's take a look at the highlighted section here. Scrum in a nutshell. In a nutshell, Scrum requires a Scrum Master to foster an environment where 1, a product owner orders the work for a complex problem into a product backlog. 2, the Scrum team turns a selection of the work into an increment of value during a sprint. 3, Scrum team and its stakeholders inspect the results and adjust for the next sprint. 4, repeat. This is pretty simple. Why is this so hard sometimes?
I don't know. Well, I'm going to start with the product owner, right? First of all, a product owner has to have 3 attributes.
Okay.
Empowered, qualified, and competent. Right? How many of them are empowered? Not that many. A lot of them, all they do is to use the language from the other episode, they shepherd the user stories. How many of them are qualified? Well, if you think that you took a 2-day class and you're qualified to be a product owner, good luck with that. That's not going to work, right? And how many of them are competent? Well, not many, and it's not their fault. Because sometimes people get parachuted into jobs that they never had them before, and it's going to take time to, get a hang of it. And you may not even be good at it, which you don't know until you actually did it. So that's number 1. So when you say Scrum Master fosters an environment, well, first of all, how is the Scrum Master going to know if a product owner is going to be really a good product owner, right? So I would say the Scrum Master owns the process. Make sure that the team is trying to improve, make sure the team is getting better at what they do, etc., etc. But ask the Scrum Master to figure out if somebody can be a product owner and etc. I think that's a big asking. Is it simple? Yeah, definitely. You have to have a product owner that knows what they're doing. You have to have a team that is good at what they're doing. And you have the Scrum Master that has to be policing the process and make sure that we're getting better at what we do. So in theory, it's very simple. When you get in practice, things get a little bit more complicated. First of all, it takes time to get a team together until they actually work together as a team instead of, hey, there's 5 backlog items. Each one of us picks up one and let's work on this.
Pick it up.
You cannot have a product owner that doesn't say, no, you cannot put stuff in a backlog because it's intangible. Let's throw stuff in there. It's going to be done one day, maybe 12, 15 years from now, right? So those things a Scrum Master can help with. But they also have to understand, hey, how I'm going to approach the product owner and say, you cannot just put stuff in there and wait until one day it gets done. So yeah, it's simple. It's very simple, but it requires a certain level of skill. And skill does not get acquired overnight or over a 2-day class.
I think of some other things when we talk about Scrum Master to foster an environment. How does a Scrum Master work with leadership? They're going to need to make changes in the company to help Scrum to run better in a company. Like, what are the policies and the procedures that might be getting in the way? Or if you're working for a startup, maybe it's more about budgetary constraints. Hey, we need money for, better equipment or some other things. So I think the answers will vary depending on your specific environment. But I see a Scrum Master here as a leader, maybe somewhat of a manager, but more of a leader in terms of making everything easier for the team that we talked about earlier. And number 2, Scrum team turns a selection of work into an increment. That sounds easy, but if you don't have the right team or they don't have the right environment, like we talked about earlier, that's a challenge. So do you have the right people on the team? As a Scrum Master, that's what you should be looking at. Do we need to get more people, the right people? Do we need to split the team? There's all different ways you could go about number 2. And then number 3, Scrum team and its stakeholders inspect the results and adjust for the next sprint. Sometimes we just treat Scrum as mini waterfalls, and we're just going one after the other, but are we really inspecting the results? And we just finished recording another video on how not to demo, right? So folks, go look at that one. It's pretty good. But this is where we should, be making sure that we're fostering that environment where we're getting that feedback. And stakeholders, you should be going to these sprint reviews. And then repeat.
Yeah, and Scrum Masters out there, if you don't know what local optimization is, take a look at that. We'll record a video about this sometime soon. But hey, I created a high-performing team. Nobody ever explained to me what that is. But anyway, it's one of those stupid buzzwords that are out on the web, right? Yeah, you created a high-performance team. Okay, that means what? Oh, we are really fast. Yeah, and the rest of the group is slow. By the way, Scrum Masters and some Agile coaches too. I mean, you guys like to be called coaches, right? It's not about your team. It's about the whole organization. You have to see yourself and your team as part of an organization. So if you do everything great in your team and the whole thing is falling apart, guess what? You're going to slow down everybody. So your so-called high-performing team is actually creating trouble instead of solving it. So a lot of Scrum Masters and some Agile coaches, they like to be called that way, they forget the organization. You serve the organization. Just talking about your team is not going to get anything any better. That's one of the pitfalls of this whole thing.
So that's our take on Scrum in a nutshell. Folks, what do you think? Do you agree with us? What are your thoughts? Put them in the comments, put them in the chat. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate all the new followers that we've been gaining lately. So thank you for that. And as always, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.